Larry Allen here at the KJES studios, and alongside me, Scott Surratt, the head football coach and athletic director at Carthage High School. Well, there's no game this week for the Bulldogs, and we'll talk about what the team has done in this open week in just a little bit. But last week, Jeff Traylor Stadium, Buckeye Land, and it was all Carthage. Here are some highlights. Gunnar Capps, 300-plus yards through the air. Luis Piedra, 9 of 9 in extra points. A block punt for a touchdown for the Dogs. Roe Garrett had 2 touchdowns, including an 86-yard kickoff return. Carthage up 52-7 at half. The offense, first-team offense, rested the entire second half. The final, 66-14. Worst defeat for Gilmer since 1977. 41 years. I know how long that is. I've been married 41 years. We got married in 77. So quite a night, Scott.
It was a great effort. Great game plans by the coaches, obviously, and then we followed through with it and, executed very well. Just phenomenal effort, Larry, by our young men, and, started off with the first kickoff return. By Roe, he had great blocking there. You usually have to break one tackle, and he broke that one tackle. And when he took off, as he's running, I said, I don't think they can catch him because he can really run. And anyway, that was a good start. And then we had, I think, a good quick 3 and out, and then scored again quickly, and it just kind of got going downhill for them, or uphill for them, downhill for us, and. It was just it was a fun night.
All right, you mentioned one of the players, and I did too, that I want to ask you about. The biggest surprise of the year for me, Scott, Roe Garrett. First of all, you've mentioned before that he didn't even play last year, and you mentioned that he may be the fastest player on the team. It's either him or Kelvonte Dixon, and he's a power lifter. Fastest player on the team, speed and powerlifting, that usually doesn't go hand in hand. Tell us about Roe Garrett.
All right, Roe played through his sophomore year, decided he didn't want to play last year, and we supported that because we just want to encourage the guys to do what they want to do and play everything they want to do, and just have a positive experience. But he's one, and he missed it, and he had a great track season last year on the third place. We finished third in state, and he was very important in that. In the sprint relay, we set a record. He was our leadoff. Our first guy on the 4x1, and he came back with a great attitude. He's worked hard, and he's behind, and he never got frustrated. And I kept calling him to the side a little bit. Don't get frustrated now. A lot of balls not coming your way yet. And I said, you keep getting better, and with your route running, because you can definitely run, and he's strong, and he's definitely gotten better at his blocking. And now we got to tell him to not block so much, or because he's been carrying them to the ground, and a lot of times when they go to the ground, it's holding. And like the other night, the guy actually pulled him on top of him. But anyway, his attitude's what I'm proud of. He has come back, and he's wanted to have a great senior year. He's having fun, and he's learning our system, and because it's so much different than on Thursday night and Friday night. Because the last time he played with his sophomore year was on Thursday night, and it's just tons different. But we're expecting him to keep coming on. You'll see some reverses to him and some things to him and some quick screens to him. And he's hard to first man. He's hard to tackle because he's so strong. And he's freakish strong. Is how little he is. He's only about 140, but he is really, really strong.
All right. Now you mentioned they didn't play as a junior, but he did as a sophomore, and said he missed it. When did he tell you he missed it?
Well, it was last year in spring. I mean, as soon as track started, he said, Coach, I'm going to play football next year. And I said, okay, well, let's get to have a great track season, and and then as soon as track's over, the day after track was over, he came out was throwing balls with us, and so that was very encouraging. He played 7-on-7 with us this summer, and he, like I said, he was just so far behind, and he's still behind. We're never going to be able to catch up with a year, but he's going to be a really good player for us, and I think he'll continue to get better.
You said he was the lead leg on the sprint relay. Did he run the 100 meters or 200 meters?
He won the 100 in the district, I believe. Is there first or second? And but yeah, he was our fastest guy in track last year. Kelvonte coming off his ankle injury, so it'd be interesting to see who's the fastest now, because I think they both can really run, and so we'll see this spring. We're not going to race them this year.
I wouldn't think so. All right, let's talk about Kelvonte Dixon. I called a play up at Jeff Traylor Stadium. Kelvonte went in motion, and then immediately a touchdown pass on that play. And Otis Amy, doing his analysis job correctly, he pointed out that when Kelvonte Dixon went in motion, the defensive back made a move. That move opened up the route for the touchdown pass. Scott, that just shows you that a player can have an impact even when he doesn't touch the football, can he?
Oh, there's no question, and every time he went in motion, we had guys that was open. The first play of the game, first offensive play, we sent him out of the backfield in motion, and then we threw it to Caden Hofen. He made a great play, and then we come back and he threw it to Caden Hofen again, and then the Rose touchdown catch was off of his, we call it rocket motion, and the corner bit down, thought we was going to throw it to him, because we just threw it to him for a touchdown. The same kind of motion we threw it to Kelvonte. So there's a lot of things coming off of that, and you'll see Kelvonte get more involved in the offense the closer the game is. He's got to get touches. I mean, he's a special player and special young man, and so we've got to do whatever we can do to get him the touches when the game is on the line. Kind of like Marshall, he touched the ball a lot in that game, and he'll touch it more once it gets cooler.
All right. Now, let's talk about the offensive line. I'm not ready to give them this title yet, but this, this could be your best offensive line you've had here. And in Chalk Talk, you showed us some tapes. Okay, you'd slow it down and show us their protection. Just incredible coaching by Clint Inslee, and boy, that offensive line is really performing.
Yeah, we definitely miss Coach Smith. He's a great coach and everything, but I said this a couple of weeks ago, Clint Inslee is a special coach, and, Coach Watson helps him, and, they're playing great up front, and, that's a heavy statement to say they could be the best we've ever had, though. We've had some great offensive line groups, and, they're talented, so it is a statement that if we keep getting better, maybe, you never know, but we've got a long way to go to catch a couple of those groups, but he's got them playing very well. More than anything is, this time of year, you usually have a few busts, especially with 3 new players in there, and and a sophomore with T. Kellum. But we got them playing. He's got them playing good. We're excited on how much better they can get.
All right, this is an off week, so what'd that mean for the team as far as changes and what they normally do?
We gave them off Monday afternoon. We came in and we gave them all weekend off, and then came in and got the Gilmer film over with. First thing we did was, we did get to Gilmer. JB did the weights, but we watched the Gilmer tape. And then on Tuesday we lifted weights. Varsity lifted weights in the period, and then we worked out after. And then Wednesday we came back. Offense went outside and did offensive things, and then defense stayed inside and watched Pleasant Grove tape. And then we came back Wednesday afternoon, and then Thursday morning we lifted weights again, and then if everything worked out Thursday afternoon, then we'll take the Friday afternoon off, but we'll come back and probably watch PG on Friday. So we should be fresh. It's a week off. We did some conditioning this week and things just to keep them in shape. And but with Monday and that Friday off, you got to be careful. But everybody, coaches and players, ought to be fresh when it comes Monday. Coaches will work this weekend, but players will be off again, and then hopefully for a long run. That's what our goal is, and we want them fresh mentally and fresh physically, and I think we'll have everybody, unless we get somebody hurt in practice, and we'll have everybody ready to go for Pleasant Grove.
All right, very good. Now, I was out yesterday to watch part of the practice, and you went through a drill I'd never seen you do before. Every receiver and some of the backs line up on one side of the field, and they run the whole width of the field. And They get 4 balls thrown at them. You were slinging it yourself out there, I saw, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us, what's the name of that drill? Describe it for us, and what do you get out of it?
That's a gauntlet drill, and it's the same one they do in the combine at NFL Combine.
Okay.
The key is to stay on the line and run as fast as you can, and you're going to catch one ball and drop it, and then look the other way, catch another ball, and then drop it. Look the other way, and you catch 5 balls during the drill, and it's kind of a little competition deal who can get all 5. And it's tough because balls are coming to you in a hurry, and you're running full speed, and you got to stay on the line. You know, a lot of them want to veer away when you're fixing to throw it at them, but
okay.
It's a drill we do, once, twice a year, and it's an open week drill, just because it takes a long time. And but they love it. And Coach Mike said, "Hey, we hadn't done gauntlet this year," and I said, "Let's do it." So that's what it is.
All right. I guess out of all the practices this year, the one thing I've enjoyed the most also happened Wednesday afternoon, and that was the offensive line versus the defensive line. It'd be the snap of the ball, and then most of the players would stand still, motionless, and 2 players would go at it, one on the offense, one on the defense. And the one that I really enjoyed, Quentin Owens and Tykees Crawford. That was a classic.
Well, it is. That's 2 great players going at it, and we're excited about our whole offensive line getting better. We're really excited about how much better Tykees can get and Owens can get, because these guys are young. They're just juniors and young in age, and they've got to. We know they can get better and better and better, and so we're excited about how good they're going to be in 3 or 4 games.
Tykees getting the better of Quentin on some occasions, and Quentin with some good quick spin moves got the best of it on others. And okay, let's go next to this. I'm asking you every week about a former player. How about Adrian Goodacre?
Adrian Goodacre is in his last year at Louisiana Lafayette. He's a 5th-year senior. He got redshirted on, and he was getting a little playing time, and so he came in and worked out with us a little bit, and he gave some pointers to the kids and stuff, and so I'm proud of him. He's going to get his education, and he's hung in there because. He started a little bit last year, but I think he's playing more this year, and so the main thing is he's going to get an education and get to go to school free, and that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? All right, tell us about that. We got to be getting close to the end of the 6 weeks. When is that?
That's just Friday. It's today, so it's. I think we're in good shape. I think we're in good shape, and we got smart kids and good kids, and so I knock on wood, but I think we're in good shape unless one of them messes up today.
All right. Now I know you usually have a coach that's sort of in charge of that. Who is that?
That's Mike Morgan. He's our academic coordinator, and but he assigns coaches to teachers. He don't go to all the teachers, and we don't go to teachers. Hey, you gonna pass this or that? We try to get to see them once a week. How is so-and-so? And it's like if Larry Allen he would be in charge of, say, 2 teachers, and then somebody else would be in charge of 2 teachers. They're not dealing with 15 coaches. They're just dealing with one.
Okay.
So, and that way you'll have the list of the players that he has, and all we want to know is if their attitude's good and if they're turning in their work. And so, because our teachers are phenomenal. They work great with our kids, and there's no teacher that wants to ever fail, but anybody, but they got to do their work. You got to hold them accountable, just like we do in football, and they got to hold them accountable in the classroom. And we got to hold them. If they don't turn in their work, that's what that's what we're here for. Because that's what extracurricular is all about. Studies is, across the country, if you usually do better in the classroom if you're involved in some extracurricular, whether it's band or athletics or UIL, whatever. And so I'm a big advocate of that, and I believe that's 100% true.
All right, this week the Bulldogs will not be playing. We are the only team in the district that will not be playing. The other 5 are playing next week. We are the only team that will be playing. And I guess, so in other words, I'm guessing, Scott, that if you had your druthers, you would have rather had the off week next week, but it sort of came down, I'm guessing, to, okay, what's more important? Do I want a full 10-game schedule, or do I want to be off next week? And the full team schedule is...
Well, we had to have 10, and it just felt, it is what it is, fell out where it did. But, I think it benefited us more this year being right there, because now Owens is back.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't been able to play, and Ponce has got another 2 weeks now because he was ready to go Friday. Felipe was, but with the turf, we wasn't real sure. Nobody slipped, so it was really good. And for the rain coming in and stuff, and we really didn't want to play him, but. If it would have got tricky, you'd have saw him out there a little bit, and because we needed him in some competition, but the score got out of hand so quickly that we said we get 2 more weeks, and then he's had a phenomenal week of practice. If you saw him pass rushing yesterday, and he's pushing, and you can't tell anything's wrong with his knee, so that's a positive, and so we're pretty healthy. Hunter Hill kind of got dinged up the other night, and so he's still in the protocol. But I'm hoping that he'll be ready to go next week.
All right. If you were to think at the first of the season about where you'd like for us to be right now after 4 games, how do we compare right now to what you would hope you'd have seen?
I think we're ahead in some spots and behind in some spots, and but we're always pleased to be where we're at. Is 4-0 is our record, but I think we're behind in some things that we've got to. We're catching up daily. I think if we can stay healthy, and you asked me that question in about 4 weeks, I think I'm going to say I think we're ahead of where we are if we keep getting better than I thought we could be in 7 to 8 weeks, but. We do have to get better, and somebody like Rowe is going to get better and better and better. He got better. He had a great practice yesterday, and Austin Morgan, you saw what kind of athlete he was on his pick the other night, which was unbelievable. But he's got to get better. He's going to get better and better and better with playing time, and same thing with Stephen Darden. He's the first year with us, and he's going to get better. And so he's got a lot of players that get better with playing time. And, Rayvon Ingram, he's going to be a really good linebacker, but he ain't played in there much. We moved Cole Whitlock down, and he's going to get better and better and better. And so it's a lot of guys going to get better and better as long as we can stay healthy, and I think we'll be fine.
What about this open week for the coaches? The coaches going to go see Pleasant Grove or Henderson? Or
we got some coaches going to Pleasant Grove up in Texarkana. I think they play in Chapel Hill. We've actually we got one guy who said he's going to watch Argyle play LE. Just for fun. He just told me, he said, I want to go. And I said, yeah, take off. And it's in Sulphur Springs. And so we're not scouting. We'll have as much tape as, that's a state championship game. So we're not that arrogant. He wanted to go, and it's on his own. And I said, yeah, because I'm not requesting anybody to go scout. We did have a few coaches want to go watch Pleasant Grove, and I said, take off. We'll let you, if you want to do it, then we'll get you a school car, and then that will be a scouting trip. But anyway, I personally not. I can't hardly get anything watching it up in the stands, and that I can't off of tape nowadays. Used to you could, because the tape, the quality of tape wasn't that good, and now it's so good. Honestly, the only thing you don't get is sometimes you get close down there to them and kind of hear their snap count. And then on an injury, if somebody went out, whether they went off on crutches or whatever, and or were they walking good on the sideline or something like that, you could tell that and say, oh yeah, he'll play next week, or he's on crutches, he's probably not going to play next week. But that's about the only 2 things, and we know that within about the first 2 plays of their snap count and whether that young man would play or not. And so it's just scouting's kind of overrated nowadays, I think, with all the good video.
Okay. All right, any final comments on this open week?
No, I think we're healthy, and I think that we've had fun. We made it fun for the kid, but our whole 2 goals this week was actually 3 was to get healthy, get better, and have fun. And I think we achieved all 3 of those goals, and we're ready for the long run. And we know it's not district time, but it's going to be a interesting game and a fun game. Defending state champion, 16-0 last year, Pleasant Grove, and us being defending state champions. So, and they got beat by Gladewater, but for one reason, they turned it over 6 times, and that's it. They had about 500 yards, and they out-yarded them a couple hundred yards, and they definitely, I think, was a better team. They just played a bad game, about like we did play at first half at Liberty Ilo, and with our 4 turnovers that half. So hopefully they'll turn it over again. Hopefully they didn't waste all of them, and hopefully we won't. But I think it's going to be a really good contest, and it'll be a very good atmosphere with the 2 defending state champions playing.
You bet. Okay, we'll talk about the Hawks next week. Those are the comments of head football coach Scott Surratt. For our Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a great weekend, everyone.